All right. Well, we're cutting the camera on and we're live. So here goes nothing. All right. It's been a little bit since I've done a live video, and the reason for that is I do not believe in putting out messages just for the sake of doing so. And if your heart's not filled and full, which doesn't mean that mine has not been, but if you don't have something to say, and you're just kind of putting out messages for the sake of doing so, that to me isn't a cool thing. And we already got some really cool people that have jumped on board. We got Nick Decker, Brian Cornell, Mike James. Mike, what's up? Christy McKenzie, KB Fitness, The Raw. What's up, homie? Cool. We got some. I'm with friends right now, which I'm excited about because actually the people that have jumped on board so far, I know that y'all are dream chasers, and so hopefully this message relates a little bit to you and you get something out of it if you can stay up long enough to hear the whole message. But that being said, let me roll on this thing and get into this here. And I got to put my kiddo to sleep here soon, so I don't know how long I'm going to roll with you, but I want to talk about some matters of the heart. This is a very long title, so I'm going to try to quote this, and we'll see if it comes out right, and if not, give me some grace, right? But the title of this message is something to the tune of, if you will spend some time today chasing the thing that you love to do, then tomorrow you'll be able to live out doing the things that you love to do instead of having to do the things that you don't love to do. Okay? Pretty long title. I'll say it again. If you will spend some time today chasing, that's the key word, chasing, taking action on the things that you love to do, then tomorrow you'll be able to do the things that you love to do versus or instead of having to do things that you don't love to do. From a young age, I knew what I loved. I knew what excited me. I knew what motivated me. I knew what made me happy, right? But I was always constantly having to do things that I hated. I was not a good student because I was being taught things constantly in school that I didn't care about. It wasn't nothing that I was passionate about. It wasn't nothing that I was excited about. And I'm not knocking on school. School's important, right? I'm glad that I had the base and the knowledge that was put in me. But at some point, once you learn the basics, how to read, write, some basics on history, and, how to do some simple math, at that point, you should start studying things that you care about. But the only thing that was being thrown at me was stuff that didn't touch my heart. And so, whatever, you get a little bit older, right? And you have to go into the workforce. You have to make income, right? Money makes the world go around, is what they say. And there's a lot of truth to that. Where your kid does or does not go to school is dependent upon the income that you make. The neighborhood of whether it being safe or not safe is dependent upon the income that you make. The cars that you drive, whether they're reliable or not, is dependent upon the income that you make. So money's important. So what do? We go to work, right? And we go into the workforce, and hopefully you didn't have to do what I had to do, which is just settle for something that pays the bills versus finding something that you love that just so happens to pay the bills. That wasn't my story. My very first job, I worked at CC's Pizza. I was a busboy. And if you think that was the burning desire of my heart to bust tables and clean up nasty pizza that had already been eaten on already and do that whole deal and wash dishes and blah, 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 that's not the truth. Not at all. Not even a little bit. But you go from job to job. Hopefully your income continues to go up. Hopefully, you start making a name for yourself or a resume for yourself in the workforce. And now, man, you're not a teenager anymore. You're not a kid anymore. You're in your 20s, right? Your relationships become a little bit more serious. You're not, changing relationships like you change your clothes, right? You have more long-term relationships. Kids might come along. Your debt goes a little bit higher, right? Because at this point, you got your first apartment or your first house. You got your first car, and your daddy's not paying for it. And, You got this thing called life that you have to deal with. But even though we all have this thing called life that we have to deal with, we all have these things called dreams, hopefully, that you want to come true. And so I want to take you back to whenever you were 10, 11, 12, 13 years old and ask you, what were you passionate about? What were you excited about? What made your heart skip a beat? What were the things that you wanted to chase, pursue, go after, that once all of the adult responsibilities started coming upon you, you started letting go of, and you settled for instead of went for, right? I never wanted to settle for. I always wanted to go for. The challenge or the problem or the obstacle was I never had a vehicle in place that was able to help me live my life on a day to day being 100% fulfilled and happy about what it was that I was doing. I did for many, 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 many years things. I entered the workforce at 15 years old. I exited the workforce at 31 years old. That's 16 years of my life. 16 flipping years. That's half. I'm 34. It's almost half of my life. And before that, I was in school. So pretty much all of my life, to be honest with you, because I didn't get free till I was 31, I invested almost my entire life up to this point, and I'm still young, but whatever, doing things that I didn't love to do. And I hated it. And I hated it so much that I started figuring out, what do I love to do? What do I want to do? What am I passionate about? How do I want to live my life? And I started, working hard towards making what I love be my full-time thing. And it took me till age 31, and I had to create an opportunity, because what I do today did not exist. I created it. And I'm not doing this video to say that you need to do what I'm doing. I don't give a flip if you're working in my field, but I do give a flip if you're working in the field that you love. I do give a flip if tomorrow, when you wake up, you're excited. Because here's the litmus test. If you're living your life out, pursuing your calling, and doing what it is that you're called to do, if you wake up tomorrow and you're doing what you love, you're motivated. You get out of bed and you say, man, it's time to charge the hill. It's time to get after it. It's time to I'm up. What am I doing today? What can I do today? What am I after? But if you wake up tomorrow and you go, I don't want to get dressed. I need coffee. I'm dreading my drive to work. I'm dreading even more sitting in the morning meeting that I'm going to have to sit in. It's hump day. All that crap. You know what that tells me? And you know what it should tell you? That you're not doing tomorrow what you love. You're doing tomorrow what you have to do to pay the bills. Let me give you a little tip from you to me, or from me to you. Sorry. You weren't put here on this earth to pay the bills. You can pay the bills a lot of different ways. And you can pay the bills by doing things you hate. Or you can pay the bills by doing things you love. And here's another tip. The only way you're ever going to make an impact and leave your stamp on this world and fulfill the calling that you have on your life is if you pay the bills doing what you love versus paying the bills by any means necessary. If you didn't know this, I'll educate you. There's 3 levels of life that you can live, or there's 3 stages, or there's 3, what's the word I'm looking for? There's 3 platforms that you can exist in. They're called the 3 S's, right? The first S is called survival, and that's where most people are at. They're surviving. They run out of money before they run out of month, every month, and they're just trying to make it by. I'm just trying to put food on the table, man. I just want clothes on my kids' back and a roof over their head and food on the table. And that's survival. And that's where most of us are. But you do not have to stay there. There is another S, right? This is the second level that you can upgrade to if you want to. And it's called